I'd like to welcome all the fresh faces here today who have come and paid tribute to Seamus, and of course all who make this journey every year to remember their friend, comrade and hero. It's now called on the Lane of the Wreaths, Irish Republican Socialist Party, Belfast. Staff and volunteer of the Irish National Liberation Army. Dublin Wicklow Irish Republican Socialist Party. The Arcola Irish Republican Socialist Party. I now call on a minute's silence and Conor Kelly to take the last post. I now call on Joe Matthews from the Irish Republican Socialist Party to read the main oration.
Comrades and friends, it is a great privilege and honour to be asked to speak to you all today to mark the 42nd anniversary of Republican Socialist leader and Irish revolutionary Seamus Costello. Before we begin, we have to pay special mention to the ongoing events in Rojava. The revolutionary Rojava project was and is one of the most progressive socialist projects seen in history. A project based on building a nation with socio-economic justice for all its citizens. This attack by Turkey, a NATO army, is an attack on human progress. The Irish Republican Socialist Party send our full and determined support to the people of Rojava. Seamus was only 38 years of age at the time of his assassination, and in that short space of time, as a political visionary and leader, he had achieved so much. In his early years, he became a rising star within militant republicanism and was nicknamed the Boy General. Throughout those turbulent years, though, Seamus understood that Republican socialist politics must be at the front and centre of the Republican campaign. As a political student of James Connolly, he believed in the ideology that the class struggle and the national struggle must not be separated. Unreleased from prison, here in his hometown of Bray, Seamus quickly went to work, establishing a tenants' union, a credit union, a farmers' union, building a grassroots Republican political organisation that eventually saw him elected on the Wicklow County Council, a seat that he kept up until his death. Following a period of internal turmoil within the Republican left, Seamus, in 1974, formed the Irish Republican Socialist Movement. With this new movement, Seamus established its core principles under national liberation and socialism, the political ideology of James Connolly. Seamus held the role of chairperson of the IRSP and chief of staff of the INLA when he was assassinated by coward counter-revolutionaries on that fateful day in October 1977. While Seamus's life was cut dramatically short, and while we can celebrate his life, his achievements in history, the most important thing that Seamus left us was his political legacy. Comrades and friends, we, the Irish Republican Socialist Party, are that political legacy. The Republican Socialist ideology that Seamus adopted is embodied within this movement and is in turn echoed with every political decision we make. It is important to remember, comrades, that this legacy has not been an easy road. There were times when being a follower of Seamus and a follower of his legacy was a matter of life and death. Being a Republican Socialist revolutionary was, to paraphrase, being a dead man or woman on leave. But the sheer determination, the courage, the sacrifices of both freedoms and lives, and complete dedication to the Republican Socialist ideology meant that this movement and the legacy of Seamus survived. This movement bore the political and emotional weight of those that paid the ultimate sacrifice for national liberation and socialism. To us, this is not just a slogan. To us, it is a promise to those that died that they did not die for nothing, and the political ideals that they sacrificed their lives and freedoms for will be realised. It is of no debate that our only objective is the creation of a 32-county socialist republic, a republic that works politically, economically, environmentally and socially for every man, woman and child, whether you live here in Bray, Castlebar, Cork or Belfast. We are now entering a political golden age for Irish Republican Socialist politics. In 2017, this party sat down and carefully analysed the changing constitutional and demographic situation in Ireland. It became very apparent that there was and is an opportunity that we cannot ignore. Brexit is not just making the prospect of Irish unity a reality, it is now making it a political certainty. Seamus Costello taught us the importance of guerrilla politics, using every vehicle to our advantage to achieve our objective, while staying firmly embodied to our Republican Socialist principles. It was through this mechanism of political strategy that the party formed Yes for Unity, a broad front, politically credible vehicle to give space to the Republican left and other anti-imperialists in the ever-growing Irish Unity campaign. While we have and continue to come under some criticism for our involvement in Yes for Unity from some sections of the Republican spectrum, we have not shied away. We are not afraid to stand out of our political comfort zones. We don't and won't hide behind baseless slogans. We are confident in our Irish Republican Socialist strategy, and we are confident that Seamus would be standing in our exact position today. We have strived to build the anti-imperialist broad front in ending partition that Seamus Costello envisaged. And while we can be happy with its ongoing success, the campaign and debate must now move forward. Our focus now must be on selling our Republican Socialist vision to the Irish working class. And while we understand that some on the Republican left, through their own beliefs, are going to be left behind, we will always ensure that the door will be left open. Yes for Unity is not only a simple campaign to give the Republican left a voice, it is of vital long-term importance, in order that the Irish Unity campaign is not completely hijacked and overwhelmed by enemies of the Irish working class. Without such a campaign, the working class will be left politically unarmed against a neoliberal post-partition Ireland that has devastated our people both economically, environmentally, politically and socially. While we are confident in our path in achieving national liberation, we have not forgotten about the class struggle. The IRSP continue to build our grassroots political movement. We have been actively engaged in action against cuts. We continue to be actively involved in our trade unions and community organisations, and we also post ourselves at the front line in combating the housing crisis across the country. Our national campaign is based on the concept of organising and empowering the Irish working class to ensure that our class stops becoming a mere mandate for others and starts becoming an organised and politically educated power base that seizes its own control of the levers of power. Our only allegiance is to the Irish working class, and through our daily political work we continue to defend and strengthen that allegiance. Comrades, like in years gone by, the path ahead won't be an easy one. To achieve our objectives, it will require hard work and complete dedication. Seamus Costello spent every second of his life dedicated to such work. Seamus set the standard of what it requires to be a Republican Socialist activist, and every one of us must strive to the best of our individual abilities to reach that standard, build our party and seize our objective. Seamus left us a lot of things, but through the political legacy of Seamus Costello, through his deep and realistic understanding of Irish politics, through his teachings of grassroots activism and political relevancy, Seamus has ensured that now, in 2019, the days of this party and his party celebrating survival are over. We are now entering a time where the political movement of Costello is not just surviving, it's not merely just growing. The political movement and politics of Seamus Costello is thriving. In the name of Costello and in the name of James Connolly, long and may it continue. Onwards and towards victory. Turn my August.
I now call for on the vein. We in the Republican Socialist Movement would like to thank everyone who attended today. There was refreshments in the coach and tea sandwiches. So thanks everyone for coming today. Thank you.